You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications.
What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review SmackDown and AEW Rampage from May 6th, 2022. Plus, I'll also be giving you guys my predictions for tonight's WrestleMania Backlash, which is a pay-per-view that really a lot of people are not really excited about, and rightfully so. Really, the build has been kind of crap, in my opinion. Really, there's like 2 or 3 matches that I'm excited for. The rest of the card is absolute garbage. Nobody cares. But I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for that pay-per-view. So we got a lot of things to talk about right here on the podcast. Quick reminder, I don't want to necessarily say reminder because I didn't even tell anybody yet, but I will not be watching WrestleMania Backlash live. I'm not going to be live tweeting it, mainly because of the fact that I am going to be watching Doctor Strange in the theater tonight. So I'm going to be catching up on WrestleMania Backlash tomorrow, and I'm possibly going to be giving you guys my review tomorrow as well. But before I get on with everything with SmackDown Rampage plus my predictions, make sure to like and subscribe to the Broken Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, the Broken Havoc podcast is now available on audio platforms. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to the Broken Havoc podcast in audio format, it's available on all of those platforms. All right, let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown overall was not really that good of a show. To be quite honest with you, it just didn't feel like a go-home show. It just felt like a nothing show to me. To be quite honest with you, SmackDown has been a terrible show for the past couple of weeks. And actually, I wouldn't necessarily say the past couple of weeks. It's been a terrible show for the past couple of months. Let's be 100% honest with ourselves. Raw has been better by default. And look, Raw still has its problems. And most weeks, Raw's still a crap show. But, you know, if you were to ask me what do you enjoy more, I mean, I'm going to have to say it, man. Unfortunately, I enjoy Raw more than I do SmackDown. But, you know, Raw still has its problems, and Raw still has some crappy moments on the show. Honestly, in my opinion, I get a kick of watching AEW Dynamite every freaking Wednesday because I'm literally, like, invested in what I'm watching. That's just me. But overall, this week's SmackDown was not really that good. There was really nothing on the show that interested me. We had a tables match between Kofi Kingston. Well, not Kofi Kingston. We had the tables match between The New Day and Rich Holland and Sheamus, in which we had the return of Butch. Yes, Butch makes his return because he was lost somewhere. He went somewhere, which, yeah, I mean, whatever. But you know, we have a lot of things to talk about on the show, honestly. Really nothing happened on the show. The closing segment was fine. But, you know, the fact that they changed a tag team unification match into a 6-man tag with no titles on the line makes it absolutely dumb. So really, what's the point of it? Apparently, this was a Fox decision. So if Fox really made that decision, then they're dumb. But, yeah, man, let's start off with SmackDown. SmackDown starts off with Charlotte Flair versus Aaliyah in a rematch of last week. Of course, last week, Charlotte and Ronda Rousey had their Beat the Clock challenge, which was really not really important at all, because if you're really going to have a Beat the Clock challenge, first off, Ronda Rousey went up against Shotzi, and Charlotte went up against Aaliyah. So, like, right then and there, you can honestly tell that, like, really, what's the point of a Beat the Clock challenge if you have they're wrestling these 2 wrestlers that really nobody cares about? That's just me telling the God's honest truth. But another thing is, like, the fact that, you know, what's the point of this match? We didn't even get a match, to be quite honest. We didn't even get Charlotte versus Aaliyah. I'm going to be 100% honest. We did not even get Charlotte versus Aaliyah. So, like, what was the point of advertising it? Really, there was no reason for advertising it. So Charlotte asked the crowd what's up. She looks at the people who paid their hard-earned money to see her. And after that, she talks about how she doesn't know why people call Long Island the armpit of New York. Anyways, she can empathize, my bad, with us because many people say that she was humiliated last week. But instead, she wasn't humiliated. She was screwed, of course. A typical heel would say that. So then Aaliyah clearly tapped out before the timer expired. And then she calls Drew Gulak a moron because Charlotte Flair has her problems with Drew Gulak in the storyline. They've been putting Drew Gulak in these like weird scenarios. Then after that, she says that the time threw her, and the only person who's going to be humiliated is Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania Backlash because she will say, "I quit." She will quit. She will quit like her baby, and she wouldn't be surprised if she left WWE altogether. Or I should say, she will cry like her baby, and she wouldn't be surprised that if she left WWE altogether. She tells everyone to say hi to Aaliyah and asks her if she's enjoying her 15 seconds of fame with standing across the ring with Charlotte Flair. Then after that, she's giving a preview of what she's going to do to Ronda at Backlash. Then she's going to pretend that Aaliyah is Ronda. And she hits a cheap shot, then clotheslines her. She hits repeated rights, yells at her to say I quit, but Aaliyah refuses. Then what happens? Ronda Rousey's music plays. She comes out. She drags Charlotte out to the ring. Both brawl on the outside, and then Charlotte gets sent to the ring post. But then Charlotte reverses it, but Ronda sends her to the barricade. Charlotte goes back in the ring. Both fight it out. We get a boot by Charlotte into the corner. Referees and security come out to basically separate the two women. Then after that, an official gets hit with the boot from Charlotte. Pat McAfee is really the only thing that makes this whole brawl interesting. WWE has tried so hard. They tried so hard to make this whole feud interesting with Charlotte and Ronda. But let's be honest with ourselves. Are you really interested in Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey? I'm not. Like, I haven't been invested in Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey since the match at WrestleMania even was announced. And the fact that they're making this an I Quit match and trying to get me invested, honestly, I'm just not being invested in the match. And really, that all has to do with Ronda Rousey, considering the fact that Ronda Rousey, every time when she cuts a promo, she doesn't even sound believable. That's just my opinion. But Pat McAfee really is the only thing that makes this whole brawl interesting. You know, Pat McAfee is fantastic. He's at least one of the highlights of SmackDown. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee are fantastic. They're great. They're a great commentary team. And during the brawl, Pat McAfee states that he makes he makes it interesting by saying, "Is that Jamie Noble?" Which is Jamie Noble. He used to be a wrestler, but now he's I believe he's a producer in WWE now. So that's funny how he mentioned, "Oh my God, is that Jamie Noble?" Both continue to brawl, and the security guards try to separate them. What are my thoughts on this? Honestly, I just did not care whatsoever. It would be really dumb if, Charlotte lost, because, like, you're paying all this money to bring in Ronda Rousey back after how many years? And, first off, they should have put the belt on Rousey at WrestleMania. I don't know why they had Charlotte retain. So, really, what was the point of the WrestleMania match? But hopefully, I definitely do see Ronda Rousey winning, considering the fact that even though Ronda Rousey's the babyface, I do not see her saying I quit. Makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, am I excited for this match? Absolutely not. I'm not going to care. Is the match going to be good? Maybe. I mean, there's a chance that this match could be good. I'm just saying I'm not interested in the match. Let's be honest. The match sucks. All right. We got Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler. Basically, they've been playing hot potato with wins and losses with both teams, Natalya and Shayna Baszler, and also, not Toni Storm. Sasha Banks and Naomi, they've been wrestling other teams as well. Naomi and Natalya are on the outside. We get a boot by Sasha. Goes to the middle rope. Then she hits a Meteora on Shayna Baszler. We get a cover into near fall. Then Sasha targets the arm and tries to stomp it, but Shayna Baszler escapes. Shayna then continues to target the arm of Shayna, but then Shayna escapes after that. Shayna applies an armbar. We get a roll-up by Shayna and a near fall. Shayna then immediately holds up the armbar. Then Shayna goes for a roll-up. Natalya tries to interfere in the match, but Shayna hits a gut wrench, planting Sasha to the mat. Then after that, Sasha goes for repeated right hands. Sasha then sends Shayna into the corner. We get repeated rights by Sasha. Then Shayna reverses it, sending Sasha into the corner. Then Sasha tries to catch Shayna from the corner, but hits a Hurricane Rana, but Shayna counters into a side slam, which is actually a really good transition. Once we're back from commercial break, Shayna then tries to target the arm of Sasha. Then Shayna goes to the outside, but then goes to the outside once again. Then Sasha tries to hit a baseball slide and slams the arm of Shayna to the announce table repeatedly. Then after that, she takes Shayna into the ring. She hits a Meteora. We get a cover by Sasha and a near fall. Sasha then hits a high kick and then goes for a bulldog. And then after that, she hits a Hurricane Rana on Natalya onto the outside. We get a knee by Shayna. We get a roll-up by Shayna. And we get a near fall. Sasha then goes for a backslide, and we get a near fall. Shayna goes for the inside cradle, but then Natalya holds on, and Shayna wins the match. So, really, it's Shayna Baszler. We would have been complaining, oh my God, Sasha beat Shayna Baszler, and then back and forth. Honestly, what's the point of this match? And what's the point of having Natalya and Shayna Baszler as a tag team if there's no story behind it? Let's be 100% honest with. Like, at least Sasha and Naomi have history together with the whole Team Bad and stuff back in 2015. Shayna and Natalya really have no history whatsoever. Like, what was the main reason why they paired these two together? This is the problem that I have with the women's tag team division. They just put two random women together with no backstory whatsoever. They just be like, oh, here's a tag team. Like, really? That's not a real tag team. I'm sorry. You need actual women's tag teams. That's one of the reasons why, the women's tag team championships are absolutely useless. The Usos are backstage and says that the time for talk is over. They talk about how they're going to be winning on Sunday against RK Bro and Drew McIntyre. Then we get in a backstage interview with RK Bro. Then the Usos, actually during the interview with the Usos were actually saying that, they talk about all the Jordans that they're going to be wearing. And then RK Bro, they talk about how they heard the Usos and say that they've been doing this for weeks. And at Backlash, they don't need to be worrying about the type of shoes that they're going to be wearing. They need to be worried about being in the ring with the three most dangerous letters in sports entertainment, RK Bro. The match is actually, pretty excited. And my apologies, man. These allergies are absolutely ridiculous. Spring season, spring is my favorite season. But, bro, I swear, man, these allergies, drive me crazy. All right, so, look. I was actually really excited because of the fact that they were unifying the tag team championships. And then now, all of a sudden, they just instantly changed the match into a 6-man tag, which makes absolutely no sense. And not only that, none of the titles are on the line, so really, what the hell is the point? That is really dumb, in my opinion, considering the fact that, you basically were building up to this tag team championship unification match, and all of a sudden now it's not going to happen. Apparently, this is a Fox call. That's what I heard. A lot of people were saying that, the TV networks want that. And if that is the case, that's really petty and stupid. I mean, keep in mind, these are the same people that, Fox had a Hell in a Cell match. And then all of a sudden that pissed off USA Network. So we got a Hell in a Cell match on Raw. That is so dumb. I understand that they're two competing companies. But Jesus Christ, you're in the deal with the same freaking company. Can't you just share the damn talent? That is so dumb. Not only that, you have guys from Raw coming into SmackDown and vice versa. So what is the point, honestly? End the freaking brand split. Brand split in 2022 is absolutely useless. All right. We got the worst segment in the history of segments, Happy Talk. He talks about all the things that he's going to do to Madcap Moss at Backlash this Sunday, that being Happy Corbin. Madcap Moss is on the Titantron. He asks him if he wants to start singing. Then after that, because he looks like he's trying out for a Pitbull cover band, he's been doing all the charity work. Basically, what happens is Madcap Moss is doing all the freaking jokes. Corbin then interrupts and he talks about how he gets it and says that he doesn't have the guts to say it to his face. But then Moss says otherwise, so he comes out and he basically tells all the jokes to his face. Then he says, he talks about all the different variations of Baron Corbin that he has been. So he's been Baron Corbin, Constable Corbin, Broke-ass Corbin, Happy Corbin, and his next phase is entertaining. Then, unfortunately, he can go back to his lone wolf phase, but wolves have hair, which is pretty funny. And then he guesses that, he can be the big bad wolf. And we get a big bad wolf chant, and then Corbin leaves. Who cares about Madcap Moss versus Baron Corbin? Honestly, nobody cares. It's a nothing match. Drew Gulak versus Gunther. You already know who's going to go over. It's Gunther, and he looked really good, man. He chopped the shit out of Drew Gulak, and he's been doing that for the past couple of weeks. Gunther grabs the arm of Drew, and he takes him down. Drew then tries to gain offense, but then Gunther hits a furious shot to the chest of Drew. Drew then fights back with the right, but then Gunther hits a boot. Then he hits another furious chop. Then he takes him to the corner, and then to the top. He hits another chop. Gunther then, continues to work on Drew Gulak in the corner. He applies a sleeper hold. Then Drew tries to fight back, but then after that, Gunther hits a power bomb. No, he's not Wardlow. I'm kidding. Gunther is awesome, but he hits a power bomb, and then we get a cover, and Gunther wins the match. Honestly, you knew this is gonna, they're good. They're basically booking Gunther strong, rightfully so. I mean, Gunther is fantastic. Granted, he used to be Walter. I don't know why they would change his name to Gunther. That's really dumb. Even considering the fact that Walter, from what I know, has been in the WWE for years now, for a couple years now. So why he was established as Walter, but then you instantly changed his name to Gunther. That's really dumb, in my opinion. These name changes are really stupid. And considering the fact that, you had the change in management in NXT. Now, granted, I do not watch NXT, but the fact that you had change of management in NXT and they still changed their names, it's so dumb. It is so dumb. NXT shouldn't even be on the USA Network. Let's be honest. It shouldn't be on the USA Network. If like now NXT is full on strictly developmental. Like that should be on like Peacock or something. It shouldn't be on the network. It shouldn't be on the USA Network. All right. We get a backstage interview with Shinsuke Nakamura. He talks about the grudge that he has with the Bloodline. And he talks about how they took out Rick Boogs at WrestleMania, in which that really sucked, man. Rick Boogs gets injured at WrestleMania. Like, that's the worst. Hopefully, Boogs can get back 100%. One day soon, when the time is right, he will get a piece of Roman Reigns, teasing a possible match with Roman Reigns in the future, which, honestly, I would love to see. I would love to see Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura, honestly. I mean, they kind of teased it. I believe it was the SmackDown after WrestleMania in which, he hugged Roman Reigns. And then after that, basically, the Bloodline attacked him. Or the Usos hit him with the super kick. But still. Sheamus and Rich Holland versus The New Day in a tables match. Honestly, this was not a bad match. It was a pretty good match. My only problem is how many times have we seen The New Day taking on Sheamus and Rich Holland? Like honestly, how many times have we seen them like in singles matches? Like I hate the philosophy that WWE does every week. This is why it does not interest me at all when it comes to these shows. One of my biggest problems with the show is the fact that they constantly, and I mean this wholeheartedly, they constantly like for example, you have two teams facing off one another. For example, RK Bro and Alpha Academy. One week you got Riddle versus Randy Orton. And then the next week, not Riddle. One week you got Riddle versus Chad Gable. Then the next week you got Riddle versus Otis. And then the next week you got Randy versus Otis. And then the next week you got Randy versus Chad Gable. Like it's I hate that. That's dumb. It's dumb booking. I don't like that. It's so stupid. But we got this tables match, which wasn't a bad match. Both teams brawl. We get a kick by Woods on Sheamus. Sheamus then picks up Woods, but then Woods hits a tornado DDT. Woods then works on Sheamus into the corner. We get a kick to the knee of Sheamus. Then he hits a running knee. Holland then takes out Sheamus from behind, but then tries to hit a side slam, but then Woods escapes. Kofi then tries to take him out from the top. We get a double team attempt by the New Day on Ridge Holland. And then Sheamus drags Kofi out to the ring. Woods then takes out Sheamus to the outside. Then the New Day get the table. Then they hit Sheamus with the table. Then they hit Sheamus again with the table onto the outside into the midsection. Kofi then hits repeated rights on Holland. They set up a table in the center of the ring. Then after that, the New Day try to hit a double suplex, but then Sheamus makes the save by moving the table off the center. Then Sheamus hits a backbreaker on Kofi Kingston, sending him to the outside. Sheamus then takes the table onto the outside. Then Sheamus tries to powerbomb Sheamus through the table, but Woods makes the save. Holland then tries to run to Woods, but then lands onto the steel steps after that. Sheamus then picks up Woods, but then Kofi makes it save by hitting a dropkick onto the table, but he does not break it. Actually, no, he hits a dropkick, sending Sheamus to a table, but Sheamus doesn't break it. He actually, I believe, doesn't even land on the table. Kofi then drops from the top rope, knocking them both on the barricades. Once we're back from break, Kofi and Rich Holland hit the 10 beats on the New Day. Holland then takes Kofi back in the ring. Both Sheamus and Ridge pick up Kofi, but then Kofi escapes. Kofi then hits the SOS on Rich Holland. Sheamus then gets sent to the apron. Kofi then takes Sheamus and then hits Sheamus's 10 beats, so he's basically stealing his move. Then Sheamus picks up Kofi and then drops him to the apron. Then Woods hits a rolling elbow. Then a spinning kick. He takes out Sheamus after that. Then we get a sunset flip by Woods and then hits a heel kick on Holland. Woods then sets up a table. Holland then goes for a headbutt, but then we get a kick by Woods. Holland then is placed on the table, and then Woods goes to the top, but then Sheamus interferes. Sheamus then takes Woods, but Kofi is, after that, Kofi comes in, and he hits a trust fall over the top rope. Kofi then sets up the announce table, but then Sheamus picks up Kofi. Kofi then escapes and hits a double stomp, and then hits a Trouble in Paradise. But then what happens? Butch, of all people, finally makes his return after like 2 weeks. And then Sheamus hits the bro kick on Woods and then drives the knee onto Kofi. And then Holland and Sheamus double chokeslam Woods through the table. And Rich Holland and Sheamus win the tables match. So, again, how many times have we seen Kofi Kingston the New Day. I don't know why I constantly keep saying Kofi Kingston's name. Kofi Kingston is Xavier Woods. How many times do we have to see the New Day taking on Rich Holland and Sheamus on SmackDown? Like, it's constantly repetitive. Like, I'm tired of it. But the fact that it was a good tables match. It was not bad. I thoroughly enjoyed what I was watching. All right. We get a backstage interview with Paul Heyman with the one and only Kayla Braxton, which, of course, they have a history, mainly because of the fact of backstage segments, which was pretty hilarious. I'm not going to lie. Every time when, like, you would have Kayla Braxton just absolutely scare the shit out of Paul Heyman, I'm not going to lie. I got a kick out of that. It was funny as hell. But he asks about Drew wanting to kick the head of the table. Heyman asks if she is flirting with him. But then what happens? Sami Zayn comes in. Talks about Shinsuke wanting payback and tells Paul that he will deal with Shinsuke Nakamura. And he wants Paul Heyman to let him know. Heyman wants the tribal... Heyman basically tells him that the tribal chief respects and appreciates him. And then Sami wants his credibility back. And then Heyman says that it's done and handled. And then both thank each other. So... is there somewhat of an alliance here? I don't know, but really, honestly, Sami Zayn has been playing kind of a snitchy type role to the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. So we'll have to see where this ends up in the future. Adam Pearce is backstage with Sami Zayn. He's requesting a match with Shinsuke Nakamura, and Pearce says that he can have the match right now. We get Lacey Evans, Chapter 5, talking about her past. So basically, this is Lacey Evans, new, I don't want to say gimmick because apparently this is her real past, which you can definitely do see the genuine in it. I don't have a problem with it, honestly. If they want to go forward with Lacey Evans, that's fine. I just, I'm not really as interested in it, to be quite honest with you. That's just me. Nothing against Lacey Evans. I was never really the biggest Lacey Evans fan, to be quite honest. I was just never the biggest Lacey Evans fan. But, let's see where this goes. But then after that, they literally they asked the crowd to say, "Oh, stand up and rise," and then Lacey Evans then comes out. So she gets a standing ovation. We get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, which was a not that long of a match, but it was not a bad match. We get a side headlock by Zayn. We get a wrist lock by Shinsuke. We get a jumping knee on Zayn. We get a cover on Shinsuke and a near fall. Zayn then regains control. Zayn then runs into a kick, and then Shinsuke goes for a couple of kicks. Then he hits an enziguri. Sami is on the middle rope. We get a sliding German by Shinsuke. Shinsuke then runs into a Michinoku driver by Sami Zayn. Once we're back from break, Zayn is in control. We get a side chin lock by Zayn. Zayn then goes to the top and he hits an axe handle. Then after that, we get a cover into near fall. Zayn then goes to the middle rope, but then Nakamura counters into a kick to the midsection. Nakamura then goes for repeated kicks to the face of Zayn. Then Shinsuke goes to the top and then hits a kick to the back of Sami Zayn. Then we get repeated kicks, by Shinsuke. Nakamura then transitions into the armbar and Zayn. Zayn then transitions into a roll-up and we get a near fall. We get a kick by Shinsuke and then he sets up the Kinshasa, but Zayn retreats. Nakamura then goes to the outside, but then Zayn kicks Nakamura into the face, landing him onto the barricade. Then Zayn instantly goes back in the ring and he wins via KO. Basically, this whole gimmick with Sami Zayn is that he keeps on escaping with these dumbass victories. I wouldn't necessarily say dumbass victories because he's been feuding with Drew McIntyre for the past 4 weeks and basically trying to escape from him. But he wins via count out. So honestly, where does this lead to? I don't know, but I do see eventually, maybe in the next month, possibly Roman Reigns having a program with Shinsuke Nakamura. Honestly, I wouldn't mind to see Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Roman Reigns. Is he going to win? Hell no, of course he's not going to win. All right. RK Bro, Drew McIntyre in the Bloodline segment. Honestly, this wasn't a bad segment. My only problem is the fact that we're getting a 6-man instead of a tag team unification match. I think that is such a dumbass decision, considering the fact that they have been building for a tag team unification match for weeks now, and then all of a sudden last week they instantly changed it. Oh, it's not going to be a tag team unification anymore. It's now going to be a 6-man tag. It's so dumb. But Drew wants to mock Roman with his "acknowledge me" line. Riddle asks them both what they acknowledge, and Riddle acknowledges that Randy is his best friend. Randy acknowledges that he still has his handprint and won the WWE Championship from Drew McIntyre. Drew acknowledges that he won back the WWE Championship. Randy then says that he acknowledges that the Usos has their finger up Roman Reigns' ass. And Drew says that they all acknowledge that Roman is the basically one of the most he's a piece of crap walking this earth. And Roman and the Bloodline come out, both brawl. Drew hits a clothesline on Drew hits a claymore, I should say, on Roman. Basically, the babyfaces stand tall in the center of the ring, and that is the segment that closes SmackDown. Overall thoughts on this segment? It was not a bad segment. I just, honestly, the fact that it's not a tag team unification now. Granted, I feel like the main reason why they did that is not only because of the networks, but because of the fact that Roman Reigns he doesn't have a freaking opponent yet. And his possible next opponent is definitely Shinsuke Nakamura. But still, I mean, honestly, it just pisses me off considering the fact that we had a tag team unification scheduled, but it's not going to happen anymore. Is it going to happen in the near future? We'll have to wait and see. But honestly, I mean, this WWE we're talking about, they always disappoint us. But yeah, man, that was SmackDown. What are my thoughts on SmackDown? SmackDown was really not that good of a show, in my opinion. Honestly, it was just not a good show. Does it get me hyped for WrestleMania Backlash? Absolutely not. That's just me. There's only 3 matches on the card that are interesting. The 6-man tag, even though I wanted a unification, really. I'm excited, but like out of the other 2 matches that I'm gonna mention, that being Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, their second match, that match is definitely going to be the match of the night, and also Edge versus AJ Styles. Hopefully, Edge versus AJ Styles is a much better match that they had at WrestleMania, in my opinion. But yeah, that was SmackDown. Real quick, let's go to our WrestleMania Backlash predictions. Real quick, let me see how much is my laptop, considering the fact that, oh my god, the lights are off, guys. There we go. And let me see real quick. I swear to God, man, this charger is like crazy. All right. Little technical difficulties on the podcast, everybody. Little technical difficulties on the podcast. Whatever. Yeah, my laptop wasn't really charged. Like I had the cable plugged in, but like the charger just like, wasn't charging. So I had to like turn it around. But yeah, man, we're back and running. We're going to be talking about our WrestleMania Backlash predictions. So yeah, we got a lot of things there's only 6 matches on the card, really. 3 of those matches are actually going to be interesting. I can't say 2. I mean, the main event, the 6-man is going to be fine, but really, as much as I'm excited for the 6-man, I mean, I'm more excited for, 2 other matches. The rest of the card is just absolute garbage. So in our first match of the evening, we got Corbin versus Madcap Moss. So we got Corbin versus Madcap Moss. Honestly, this is a match that I do not care about whatsoever. Honestly, who really cares about this match, to be quite honest with you? This whole feud has been an absolute dumpster fire, in my opinion. So really, what is the point? I see Madcap Moss going over. That's just me. Is Corbin possibly going to win? Yeah. You know what they do. All right, we got Lashley versus Omos, another feud that nobody cares about. I can't even believe that Lashley's actually the number 1 babyface on the Raw roster. Like, that is insane to me. Like, right now, in my opinion, Cody Rhodes is, like, definitely, the top babyface there. The fact that, Bobby Lashley is, like, the top babyface is weird to me. But this whole build with Omos and Bobby Lashley has been really weird to me. Again, a feud that I just absolutely do not care about. I swear to God, hopefully not, that Omos is not the WWE champion in the next couple months. I doubt that's going to happen, but still, like, I just do not want that to happen. But who do I see winning this match? If Lashley got the win, I mean, WWE would, they would definitely, considering the fact that they now have MVP on the side of Omos, I mean, I definitely do see, Omos going over in this match. In our next match, we got Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey in an I Quit match. Yes, we have an I Quit match between Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. A match that had terrible builds. Nobody cared about this match. They tried super hard, but nobody absolutely cared. Mainly because of, Charlotte Flair, I saw this tweet, and this was such a true tweet. WWE was, basically, doing their part, and then, Ronda Rousey, instead, she, you could tell by her promos that, she just does not want to be there at all. Her promos are so non-genuine. They're not even genuine whatsoever at all. They're so lazy. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. And, what is the point, honestly? There's no, reason behind it whatsoever. But, if this is an I Quit match, and, of course, this is babyface versus heel, Charlotte is the heel. I definitely do see her saying I quit and Ronda winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. All right. In one match that I'm extremely excited for, and hopefully it's much better than their WrestleMania match, is Edge versus AJ Styles. This match is going to be really awesome, in my opinion. I'm really excited for this match, considering the fact that, I wasn't as intrigued in their first WrestleMania match, to be quite honest with you, and I I was somebody before WrestleMania was stating, bro, this is going to be a show-stealing match. Of course, Cody Rhodes came back and, that completely debunked my statement right there. But, I was not really I was excited for this match at WrestleMania, and I really did not get anything in their previous WrestleMania match. So hopefully, we get a really, really good match between the two. And who knows, maybe we can get another member of Edge's new faction, Judgment Day, because they've been running rampant on Raw. And by the way, speaking of Raw, the Raw reviews will be coming back. I've been really busy with school and all that stuff. It's just been hectic as hell, especially Mondays, because I'm literally on campus all day from literally afternoon to night. So that's why, I literally come home, within, the second hour of Raw. But the Raw reviews will be coming back this week, hopefully. But I have been watching the shows. I've really been enjoying Judgment Day. Judgment Day, in my opinion, has been absolutely fantastic. And honestly, eventually, Roman Reigns is going to be dropping one of the championships. And, I stated it right here. I mean, if you really want to elevate guys, put the belt on Edge and have him put over, one of the reasons, and I stated this in my WrestleMania review, one of the reasons why he had somebody, Damian Priest as a part of this group is to elevate somebody like Damian Priest. History has shown us with factions like, for example, Evolution. That faction elevated Randy Orton and Batista. I feel like this is going to be the same thing with Damian Priest. This faction is definitely going to be elevating Damian Priest. And who knows? We could see another member, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, here's the main match that everybody wants to see out of this entire dumpster fire of a show. This match is the match that everybody wants to see, that being Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins in their second encounter at WrestleMania Backlash. Or I'm sorry, Backlash, because I hate the name WrestleMania Backlash. It's such a dumb name. I understand that they want to, call this, WrestleMania Backlash, considering the fact that WrestleMania is a money-making machine. But still, just call it Backlash. They've been calling it Backlash for years now. But we have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, and overall, this match is definitely going to be the match of the night. If there's any indication of what we saw at WrestleMania, it was huge, mainly because of the fact that it was Cody Rhodes and it was such a big deal. But still, they delivered a good-ass match at WrestleMania. That match was by far the best match of both nights, in my opinion. This match is absolutely going to tear the house down at Backlash. Mark my words. All right, in the main event, we got the Bloodline taking on RK Bro and Drew McIntyre. So yeah, this match, honestly, as you guys know, originally this was scheduled to be a tag team championship unification match, considering the fact that Roman Reigns was the one that was telling the Usos, hey, I want those tag team championships in the Bloodline. And the fact that Roman Reigns was the one that basically ripped up the promo, ripped up the paper, the contract, is so dumb. But, still, I think the match is going to be great. Who do I think should win? Honestly, the Bloodline needs to win, mainly because of the fact that, it just makes sense for the Bloodline to win. And, if the titles were on the line, it would make more sense as well. So my pick for this match is definitely going to be the Bloodline winning, mainly because of the fact that it's the fucking Bloodline. All right. So yeah, those were my WrestleMania Backlash predictions. Honestly, what are my thoughts on the show? I think the show is going to be fine. It's not going to be an amazing show like WrestleMania, of course. It's a C-level show. Nobody really cares. There's only 2 or 3 matches that people are interested in. The rest of the card is just pure garbage. But really, there's some people that even, one of my biggest problems with B-level pay-per-view builds, especially for WWE, and that's why I think they should ditch them, is because of the fact that whenever it's a go-home show, you don't even realize that the pay-per-view is on that weekend. It's really dumb. But yeah, those were my WrestleMania Backlash predictions. Before I get on with the Rampage review, I'm going to be talking about the Broken Habit Podcast. The Broken Habit Podcast is now available on audio platforms. Of course, it's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to check out the Broken Habit Podcast in live, well, I don't want to say live because it's a tape show, in audio format, it's available on those platforms. And also, please subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here onto the Broken Havoc Podcast, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. All right, let's talk about Rampage. Damn, these allergies are kicking my ass. I swear. These allergies, man. Like, look, I love spring. Again, I've stated this on the SmackDown review, like on the first half of this podcast. I love the spring. Spring is arguably my favorite season. Like, summer is just not my deal. It really isn't my deal at all. But man, dude, like these allergies during the spring season are just a pain in the ass. Like, really, right now, these allergies are just absolutely kicking my ass. All right, let's talk about Rampage. Rampage, of course, was a 1-hour show. Overall, I thought Rampage was a pretty good show, in my opinion. I enjoyed the show for what I watched. We had the Men of the Year, of course. We had a fantastic women's tag team match that was really good. We had Riho taking on Yuka Sakazaki in a qualifying match for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. We finally have the brackets that are revealed for the women. So we got a lot of things to talk about right here on the Rampage review. We had our main event between Jay Lethal taking on Takeshita, which I'm not really familiar with him. I'm being honest. I'm not really familiar with Takeshita, but he showed a really good outing in this match against Jay Lethal, and I believe he did make multiple appearances in AEW before as well. But overall, I enjoyed this episode of Rampage. It was a pretty good show. We also had Eddie Kingston call in the show on Chris Jericho, so we're gonna be talking about the show. In the first match of the evening, we do have Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter taking on Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. I really enjoyed this match. This match was absolutely fantastic. It was a great opener for Rampage. Not only that, I love the duo between Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. I think their dynamic is really good. And also Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, which I do think Britt Baker is definitely going to be one of the runner-ups for the tournament. And definitely, I believe in the first round, Jamie Hayter is going to be taking on Toni Storm as well. But the match starts. Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm lock up. We get a shoulder tackle by Storm. Storm then fires back with a shoulder tackle. Ruby then tags in. Hayter then takes Ruby to the corner. At this point, Britt Baker is the legal woman. Then after that, she hits a sling blade on Ruby. Then she wants to go for an air raid crash, but then Ruby goes for a roll-up. And then we get a near fall. Then we get a waist lock by Britt. Then we get a double leg sweep by Storm on Ruby on Britt. At this point, Storm is the legal woman. Then Storm runs into Britt, landing her onto the middle turnbuckle. We get a cover by Britt and a near fall. Once we're back from break, Hayter then sends Storm into the corner. Storm then gets sent into the corner again, but then fires back with a German on Jamie Hayter. At this point, the hot tag is made. We get multiple clotheslines made by Ruby Soho, and then she hits a brutal knee on Britt Baker. Then we get a right kick by Ruby into the corner. Then she hits Britt, sending her face first into the corner as well. We get a hip attack by Storm, but then Hayter hits a boot. Britt then tries to go for the Pittsburgh Sunrise, a.k.a. the Panama Sunrise, of course. That's the move of her boyfriend, Adam Cole, Bebe. And we get a double team by Ruby and Storm. Storm then drops Hayter on top of Britt Baker. Then Britt counters into an air raid crash. Both Storm and Britt exchange shots. Britt then catches Storm into the lockjaw, but then we get a roll-up lateral press by Storm, and we get a near fall. Storm then hits a German on Britt Baker, and then Storm takes Britt to the top. But then Rebel interferes. Britt then gouges the eyes of Storm, but then Hayter and Britt hit a double team maneuver. We get a cover and a near fall when Ruby makes the save, and then I believe that finish was Storm with a roll-up on Britt Baker, and Storm and Ruby win the match. I believe it was a roll-up. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was taking notes and I completely missed the finish of the match, and I didn't even bother rewatching it. My dumbass. But yeah, man. Overall, I really enjoyed the match for what it was. It was a great match. I loved it. You know, it was great. Definitely, there was a lot of fast-paced action. I wouldn't necessarily say fast-paced action, but there was a lot of fast action in this match. But it was a great match. Definitely, Ruby Soho and Toni Storm have really good chemistry together. And not only that, you know, the wrestling flowed well. I loved it. It was a great match. Eddie Kingston calls Jericho on commentary, which I absolutely loved. He basically called in on the show, which, you know, you don't really see that. I feel like the last time that happened was, I believe it was on a random episode of Nitro. It was one of the final episodes of Nitro. I think it was like 2001, in which like Sid Vicious called in the show because he was in traffic. Something like that, but this was completely different. But Eddie Kingston calls Jericho on commentary and says, you know, talks about how he's going to make his life a living hell and all that stuff. I love how they added that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see stuff like that in wrestling nowadays. You know, you barely see that type of stuff in WWE at all. So it's great that they added that, especially, you know, considering it's on Rampage as well. And Jericho's on commentary, so I love the fact that Eddie, you know, basically called in on Jericho while he is on commentary. So that is great. Tony Nese backstage challenges Danhausen in Long Island on Wednesday on Dynamite. And then we get Hook versus JD Drake. Yes, the cold-hearted, handsome devil Hook is in action. And JD Drake, man, bro, Hook beat the living shit out of this guy. So we got a waist lock by Hook. JD goes to the face of Hook, and then we got a chop by Hook. JD Drake then hits a chop to the face on Hook. It looked like a headbutt of some sort. Then Hook takes him down. Then Hook hits a side slam suplex. JD then tries to go for a DDT, but then Hook counters and hits the red rum. And then JD Drake taps out. So he basically like choked the living shit out of a guy like JD Drake. So that is great to see, man. Hook, I guarantee you, man, in a couple years, this guy is going to be a mainstream star. A lot of people say Jade Cargill is going to be a mainstream star, and she absolutely will. She definitely has the potential. I don't even want to say she has the potential. No, she's going to be a mainstream star 100%. I see Hook being the same thing. I'm being honest with you guys. All right. So after that, Danhausen comes out, and he wants Hookhausen. Of course, Hookhausen. Danhausen wanted to curse Hook, but then, of course, Hook no-sells it for the past couple of weeks. And then Hook pushes Danhausen, and then Danhausen gives him chips for his birthday gift because it's Hook's birthday. And so he gives him chips. Of course, he knows Hook loves chips, but then he just puts him he just basically just throws him down on the mat, and then Hook leaves. Where does this lead to? Hopefully Hookhausen in the near future. Dax Harwood talks about Adam Cole. Of course, Dax Harwood is going to be taking on Adam Cole in the first round of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament this Wednesday on Dynamite, which I'm definitely excited to see. He says that he needs to win this tournament for him, Cash, his family, and for the Hart family. So who's going to win, man? Honestly, I do see Adam Cole winning this match, but like a lot of people are saying Dax going to be the guy to win this tournament. I don't blame you. I mean, like Dax, the promos that he cut, man, are really genuine, and I absolutely love whenever Dax Harwood cuts a promo. Definitely, he could possibly beat Adam Cole in this scenario, but we'll have to wait and see. Yuka Sakazaki versus Riho in a Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifying match. Damn, man, I swear to God, man, I hate these allergies. They're absolutely dumb. All right, so both lock up. We get a wrist lock by Riho. We get a side headlock takedown by Sakazaki. Then we get a side headlock by Yuta. Both then go for a couple of leg sweeps. We get a drop kick by Riho. We get a running knee into the corner by Riho. Then she hits a crossbody. Then after that, Yuka hits a cover and near fall. She sends Yuka to the corner, but then Yuka goes to the top. Yuka then goes for a cartwheel off the top, and then hits a drop kick on Riho. Yeah, then, I literally, on my notes, I keep writing Yuta instead of Yuka. That's crazy. Because Wheeler Yuta is so over right now. But Yuka goes for a cannonball senton on the outside. We go to a commercial break, and once we're back, Riho then misses the stomp off the top. Yuta then hits a Northern Light suplex after that. We get a cover into near fall. Tries to hit a springboard splash, but then Riho gets the knees up. We get a Snapdragon suplex by Riho. Riho then misses a running knee. We get a roll-up by Yuka. Then we get a near fall. Riho then goes for a roll-up, and then we get a diving knee strike by Riho. We get a cover into near fall. Riho then goes to the top. Then Yuka comes in, and she plants Riho face first to the mat. We get a cover into near fall. Yuka then picks up Riho. Riho then goes for a roll-up and a near fall. They both do elbow strike exchanges. We get a couple of rights and left elbows by Yuka. We got a trip by Riho, and then rolls her up, and then Riho qualifies in the tournament. Overall, this was a great match. I absolutely loved Riho versus Yuka Sakazaki. They wrestled really well. And not only that, man, it was definitely like no bullshit match. Like this match was absolutely insane. I got to rewatch this match because this match was absolutely great. Shawn Spears is backstage. She basically congratulates Wardlow in his match against W. Morrissey this past Wednesday on Dynamite, which W. Morrissey looks great, by the way. Calls him Superman and says that even he himself has kryptonite. Of course, Wardlow this Wednesday on Dynamite. Jesus Christ, man, it's like literally botchamania happening right before my eyes, man. Like, damn. These lights. Oh, crap. Let me see something real quick. Technical difficulties, everybody, on this review. Which never happens, by the way. Never happens. Crap. These technical difficulties never happen. Alright. There we go. Alright. No more technical difficulties right here on the review. Damn. Really, it never happens. I don't know why. And I gotta fix the setup, man. It's kind of literally, I don't know. But Jungle Boy, actually no, the Men of the Year. I completely forgot. The Men of the Year. Dan Lambert basically mocks the city that they're in. Kazarian then comes out and he basically faces off with Scorpio Sky. Actually, before Kazarian comes out, he actually stated this one line, which is absolutely hilarious. It was really funny. Let me have it right here. I didn't write it on my notes, but he talked about Sammy Guevara. It says that the days getting the title passed. Well, we didn't really talk about Sammy Guevara. He talked about how he wants to bring back prestige to the TNT Championship because recently the TNT Championship has been in shams. So basically, he said that the days of this title getting passed around like Ty Conti backstage are over, which is absolutely hilarious. So basically, after that, he faces Scorpio Sky, says that he always believed in him, and right now he is his biggest threat, and he wants what Sky promised, and that is a match for the TNT Championship. Scorpio Sky will bring respect for the TNT Championship, and he will be a fighting champion, and he will give his shot next week on Rampage. So we will be getting Frankie Kazarian taking on Scorpio Sky on Rampage this Friday. Jungle Boy, of course, comes into the commentary desk. Of course, that is where Ricky Starks is, and he will be facing Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship this Wednesday on Dynamite. He attacks Ricky Starks versus Jungle Boy for the FTW title next week. I'm absolutely excited for that. Do I think Jungle Boy is going to win? No. And also, Jungle Boy, I stated earlier that it was kind of questionable that Jungle Boy lost, against Kyle O'Reilly, but I do see Christian Cage turning heel in the near future. Jay Lethal versus Takeshita, a really, really good main event. The match starts. It was a really good match. I really haven't seen a lot about Takeshita. I've only seen clips. Not only that, of course, the clips that they showed on Rampage as well. I'm not really as familiar with Takeshita, so bear with me here. But overall, this was a great match. Both lock up. We get a waistlock takedown by Takeshita. We get a side headlock. Then we get a takedown by Lethal. We get a chop by Lethal. We get a hip toss by Lethal. And then he hits a cartwheel shotgun drop kick. We get a couple of chops by Takeshita. And then after that, we get a couple of arm drags. Then Takeshita goes for the flare strut, which is absolutely hilarious. We got a running forearm by Takeshita. He sends Jay to the outside. Takeshita then crashes down on Lethal. He faces with Satnam Singh, who is on the outside. But Lethal gains advantage. He goes for a tope suicida. After that, once we're back from break, both are on the top. Takeshita hits a lariat off the top. Yes, he hits a lariat on Jay Lethal. We get a cover into near fall. We get a roll-up by Lethal countering the Dragon Suplex. Jay then applies the figure 4 leg lock. We get an inside cradle by Takeshita, but then he hits a brain buster. We get a cover and a near fall. Jay then counters the rolling strike, but then he tries to hit the lethal injection, but actually misses. Then he hits a lariat, and then Takeshita hits a jumping knee. We get a cover into near fall. We get a kick by Lethal. We get a right hand shot by Takeshita. We get a roll-up by Lethal, and we get a near fall. And he hits a lethal injection. We get a cover, and Lethal wins the match. And after that, all the heels, that being Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Takeshita, Sanjay Dutt, attack Takeshita. Then after that, Best Friends come out with Orange Cassidy, and then both teams brawl. Satnam Singh then flattens Trent, and then he chokes down Chuck Taylor to the mat repeatedly. But then what happens? The Ring of Honor television champion Samoa Joe comes out, but security blocks him, and the show ends. Overall thoughts on this episode of Rampage. I thoroughly enjoyed the show for what it was. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. The matches were pretty good as well. This show had an early-ass time slot. It aired at 5:30, which is weird, but it did. But, overall, I thought Rampage was a good show. Actually, for the past couple weeks, Rampage has been a much better show than SmackDown, in my opinion. SmackDown has absolutely sucked. It's been a garbage-ass show, in my opinion. But, man, that was my WWE SmackDown Rampage review and WrestleMania Backlash predictions. Overall, both shows, look, SmackDown sucked. Rampage was actually a pretty good show, in my opinion. WrestleMania Backlash, of course, is going to be an alright show, in my opinion. I'm not going to be watching it live, considering the fact that I'm going to be watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I'm absolutely excited for. So, I'm going to be watching the show tomorrow and giving you guys my thoughts tomorrow right here on the Broken Havoc podcast. So, of all things, please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications to be able to look out for more videos. And this is Broken Havoc, signing out.